We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white, lily white and navy blue. Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white, lily white and navy blue. Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white, lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die heart, heart and soul. Lily white, lily white, lily white and navy blue and navy blue. Navy blue.
Good evening to everybody everywhere. This is Spurs Diehards Tottenham till we die. How's everybody? Three of us today. Just the three amigos, the three musketeers, the three. I've run out of three things to little pigs. There you go. Happy days.
There you go.
Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Looking forward to getting the show. There hasn't been what will we talk about? There's only our European squad to talk about, unless we want to bore ourselves to death with more Levynomics. But
big shout out to Connor.
Big shout out to Connor. Connor, if you're watching or listening or whatever. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm sure we will have an interesting show as usual.
Good. Steve Silver, Stateside Footy. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great, man. Celebrating Seattle's 9th trophy this last weekend. Obviously, that led into a very interesting week. Yes, that's right. Golf clap it away. I mean, I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful game. We beat Messi on home turf, and it was fantastic. But it was interesting because yesterday, like around 3:00, I heard this thunderous booming noise from mid-Michigan, and I was kind of wondering what was going on. I was like, kind of spooked. It turns out it was coming from North London. And apparently a certain chairman steps down, and there was a collective cheer, and it was what it was. But I'll say this: I had mixed emotions over it. So I have a different take for it. So it is what it is. But that being said, thank you, Daniel, for your 25 years of service at the club.
I was thinking of starting a leave-in movement. What do you think?
A leave-in movement, yeah.
It's been less than 24 hours. Well, I'll tell you what, boys, we'll get into it. I'm going to say a quick hello to some people in the chat. I can already see a couple of familiar faces. Talk and Ball says, I'll try to watch live, but if I miss it, break a leg, fellas. I think that's only applicable to actors and actresses. You're not supposed to say that in football, but big up Colin, how many just messing me up. Super Spurs TV, Blaine is always in the house. Evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get these guys to 1.5k tonight. And you know what, people? That would only take 12 of you to go over and smash that subscribe button and also hit the like. We don't ask for much, but I'm going to ask for it now. So I appreciate it. And we'll see what we can do over the course of the show. We also have a Mr. Graham Spurs GCTV. Big up, Graham. Hope you are well. We also have Nita in the house. Good evening, Nita. Hope you're doing well. So I'll tell you what. I've already spoken to you two a little bit backstage. It's been 24 hours. I'll be honest with you. I'm already bored to tears with it. Adrian knows that. Steve knows it. I'm going to let you two have your say, to be honest with you. let's just start with it. Let's get it out of the way. The one thing that I'm hesitant of or aware of is just the fact that over the last, as I say, 24 hours, everybody's gone live, everybody's spoken about it. So I don't necessarily want to just, hash up everything again. But obviously, given the situation, I think it's probably only right that, I don't know, just Levy steps down as chairman. Adrian, any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, Charrington wasn't brought in for nothing. Donna Cullen was asked to stay on for another year by Levy. I think all the signs were there that changes were coming. We didn't expect this. Levy was Martin Jold, wasn't he? He was sacked at half time, basically.
Yeah, right.
The way it's gone is the way it's gone. But now we're looking to see what the change will be direction of the club. There will be change because otherwise you wouldn't sack Levy. So there's going to be change. How quick or how visible it's going to be or how transparent the club are going to be about where we're our direction of travel, who knows? But we got 4 months, haven't we? It's 4 months because if we're looking to be impressed by a new regime, then they won't be able to do it to the January transfer window. So that's 4 months away, and then we'll see if we spend in January, and that'll be the first, unless something happens between these 4 months. So I'm not sort of thinking, are we going to get an investor in the days or weeks ahead? We may get an investor within the next 4 months. I think fans would like it in early, but be careful what you wish for. You know what I mean? Due diligence and all that. So, So, all right, he's gone. He's been 25 years. His legacy is a stadium, training ground, 2 trophies, blah, blah. Yeah, on the business side, he's been brilliant for the club. He's give us the best stadium in the world, probably the best training ground in the world. The money's gone up. The stadium wasn't a game changer regards football, but it was a game changer regard finances because we wouldn't have been able to compete like we've done now, even though we ain't won as many trophies as we should have, if we'd stayed at 36,000 stadium. So back to you, Drew.
No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. You make some very good points there, Adrian. Steve, the big boom from North London that wasn't Michigan.
Yeah. I thought it was a tornado as usual. That's usually what happens
Right.
here, but no, it wasn't that. I have a different take on it, and the reality is I was never really a Levy out type of guy, and I could never necessarily. I understood the reasons why, but that being said, when you look at the overall body of work from where Tottenham were, a club that was a mid-table, was mid-table mediocrity. It was the true definition of mid-table mediocrity that would win a trophy at the beginning and the end of a decade. Outside of 1961, when Fred Behrman was the owner and the chairman of the club and Bill Mick was head coach, that little 14-year stretch where they won some pretty impressive trophies. Outside of that little stretch, Spurs have been like a mid-table mediocrity team, a team that was essentially playing in a rundown White Hart Lane, a team that was barely worth 80 million pounds, and Daniel Levy understanding exactly where the football business was going, absolutely took advantage of it. And redesigned a model that took Tottenham Hotspur from that to a club that's worth damn near $4 billion, a club that other teams in the Premier League and other teams in the world absolutely copied the business model, the way that you can actually use funds to build a state-of-the-art training center, a new stadium, those type of things, to the point where all of a sudden, not only did he take the American sports business model and use it to his own advantage, but now all of a sudden, Tottenham Hotspur is absolutely a global brand. The Cockerel is known around the world. And I remember when I became a Spurs fan in 2000, 2001, and if you went up to even a well-versed soccer fan in the United States and wanted to talk Spurs football, they wouldn't even know who you're talking about. 25 years later, they want to talk about Xavi Simons. They want to talk about, Christian Romero and some of these other players. So over the span of 25 years, he turned, a mid-table mediocre Tottenham Hotspur into an absolute global powerhouse. And when you look at the Deloitte Money League, they're in the top 10 when it comes into revenue. But the best part about this is the work that he's done over the 6 years since they moved in the stadium. And again, I understand didn't have the greatest windows. As a matter of fact, we're the only team to not have a summer transfer move without a transfer embargo. So I understand. I get it. 2 trophies in 25 years, unacceptable. Understood. Get it. But that being said, when you look at the fact that he's essentially written off debt for 30 years because of the stadium, and when you look at the fact that his revenue to wage expenditures were at the Premier League's lowest, And when you look at where he stepped down, the club is by far more healthier today is when he took over. And when you look at what's going to happen over the next 5 years and the expenditures that we could actually spend on, it was all because of the groundwork that he laid, right? And I would probably assume that we're going to start spending money. If this summer is any indication, I would probably assume that we're actually going to start actually realistically challenging for the Premier League and the Champions League. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, fair play, fair play. Graham says, Drew, how long before you could say my new chairman? Feels like something is missing. Do you know, Graham, I'm actually just going to have to rock with my former chairman for a little while, because until the new guy comes in and impresses me with something or builds, I don't know, another stage so that they can have two performances going on at the same time, I don't know. I think he's going to be a fraud. So my former chairman is still is going to be it until the new one.
Like Milton Nabriga there in the chat. There's a lot of Spurs fans that preferred White Hart Lane, and I totally understand it. But when you look at the business aspect of football, man, the work that he did in a stadium that wasn't conducive to revenue, and he was able to turn Spurs into a continuous Champions League team. Come on, man.
No, absolutely. I feel the same as you do, Steve. To be honest with you, I've never had pitchforks for Levy like other people have. So, I don't know. Just real quick from Blaine here, sending in a real big super chat of 20 Libra Pundai. Says, last couple of years, it's evident he was beyond his sell-by date. But if you don't recognise where we were 24 years ago, it's highly disrespectful. 80s and 90s now is night and day. Thanks, Daniel. But time for change. Yeah. So, and I kind of echo those sentiments. At some point, I think the club maybe got a little bit too big for him, or, as good as he has been in some regards, he didn't quite.
25 years is too long for any one person in any one given role. And and there were quotes from Daniel talking about eventually stepping down. You would probably assume that the last 3 years it got to a point where maybe he actually wanted to step aside.
And Donna Cullen was there before him, and that was the sign. She wanted to step down towards the end of last season, and Levy asked her to stay on. So I think the signs were there of change. Peter Charrington's the new non-executive chairman of the club, which basically means like he won't get involved in the day-to-day running, but bet your life he'll be hovering over the board, over Vinay and others like Marinakis. he will be hovering over there to make sure things go well. So it's a change. We'll see what they do. I'm not expecting. Well, what could we expect in the 4 months leading up to a window, which is when they get a chance to impress us? I mean, more, for them to relate more with the fans, perhaps by doing things around games. Like, it was good when they were handing out all them flags and things. Put more water stations around the platform. Have some green cross ambulance areas in the stadium, which I don't see them walking around. There's things, because I've seen people taking it at the stadium, and like you want to, and a mate of mine was as well. So, and you want.
How about build out the Spurs Museum and actually put some statues around the grounds and do some of the things that Spurs fans have been asking for a few years now.
The museum's above the biggest merchandise shop in Europe, something like 40,000 square feet. That merchandising shop is. That's not done like you say. With regard to statues, I'm not a fan. Maybe because I go back so far in history. If you had all the statues up for the people I want, you'd have the terracotta army around the stadium. You know what I mean? So like you what you need, I think.
How old are you, Adrian?
I'm 70. 110.
So
154.
I was born in 1955. I'll be 71.
All right, double door.
Yeah, exactly. I watched the double side play. So I didn't realise what was going on. I was too young to appreciate it, right? Which is, But so I would actually like to see. I mean, there's no flagpoles around the stadium or on the roof or nothing like that. It give the place a bit of colour. And there's no. I mean, why not have murals either in stone or in bronze with a whole winning team in it? Like we've seen a lot of these logos that get posted on our Facebook channel and things like that. When people do these pictures of all these players. Do murals around the stadium at different levels. You could have them in the museum as well. I mean, someone suggested today, which I wouldn't be against, naming the South Stand the Bill Nicholson stand.
Mm.
You know, that would be, and you could do that to the 4 stands. Actually, we have enough. We're steeped in enough history. We were pioneers of total football. I mean, if I ever did a historical perspective, I could do it from like, pre-1880 upwards, right? So I might do it one day if I can be bothered. I could do it off by heart, actually, on memory alone. But
you could do the first half of the video could be in black and white, and then you could slowly transition to colour when you hit the 60s.
Well, that's the last time we won the league was in black and white, Drew.
Were you around when we were the first non-league team to win the FA Cup? Do you go that far back?
We was in the Southern League. I mean, the year before, for those that are interested, we won the Southern League. So that was in 1918. Sorry, we won it in 1901. So, but the year before, we won the Southern League. We was a non-league team, so we got a bye into the FA Cup the following season for winning the Southern League, right? But the holders at the time, Sheffield United, also got a bye because they'd won it. And then we meet them in the final at Crystal Palace, in front of a 100,000 odd crowd. You didn't have all the diversions you've got now. You know, people used to go to the cinema back in the day. You didn't have internet or TV. So, and then
where's this? Hang on, Adrian. I'll just cut across you just quickly. Stevie in Edinburgh Spurs says, "I'm so happy to see the back of Levy, but Enoch must follow soon. I've never forgiven them for not backing Pochettino after the European Cup final. We would have been miles ahead of where we are now." And that's just kind of, I just want to touch on that, because do you think the one thing that I have been sort of mulling over the last, I would say, since it happened, is I can't help thinking that Levy's been made a little bit of a scapegoat, because all of the things, like, they're basically suggesting that they want to win more and do more. But I'm not a person that believes that Levy was sitting behind the scenes pulling all the strings himself. Like, he had people to answer to. He had a budget that he had to work within. He didn't own the whole thing. So I find it a little odd that they're coming out waxing lyrical about things that they wanted to do or they want to do, when the reality in my head is that they could have just given Levy the rein to do that. And if they wanted that and Levy was stopping them, then why wait until now? Like, why did it take you, I don't know, arguably 10 years to make the change if that was the problem? So I don't know, something feels a bit off with that, but I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, Steve.
I'll just say this, right? The Pochettino era was by far one of the best eras I think that Spurs have ever had in their Premier League history, notwithstanding the double in 61 where they were absolutely awesome. But the reality was, like, if you remember in 2015, 2016, when Leicester City won it, we were in the catbird seat that season. And then I think we lost, 4 straight to end the season to not only not win the league, but we finished in 3rd behind Chelsea, right? So, and then also the next year, which was probably, as far as points totals in the history of Tottenham Hotspur, was one of the single greatest point totals we ever had. And then finished 2nd behind Chelsea, who were just unbelievable that season, right? The reality was that those Spurs teams that were built under Pochettino easily could have won something. They had the firepower to get it done, and they just didn't get it done. And that's not because Daniel Levy wouldn't spend. When you go back to those teams and you look at those rosters, they were phenomenal rosters that easily could have won it. And we actually had a window. We actually had a window to win something in those first 4 years. You know, after the 16-17 season, we kind of backslid a little bit back to forth. But that being said, we were still good. But the reality was, it was 15, 16, 17 was actually that 2 year stretch. And it had nothing to do with because Daniel Levy didn't go out there and spend, because those rosters were loaded.
And you could see the decline, because as I recall, I don't know why I remember half this stuff. Honestly, I don't. We finished 2nd, like you rightly said, Steve. Then we finished 3rd the next season. Then we finished 4th, right? Then we finished 7th. Then Conte coming and we finished 4th, and then we finished 8th. So you could see in them results, if you look at the league placings, you could see where the decline was happening, when the squad was aging, it was too tired to press when they were all so young, when they were much younger.
Sure.
Sure. So and Drew, you had a good point there, actually, because on the
hang on, Steve.
On the Levy thing, because with Enoch, yeah, you can complain about that, but what Levy's done for you, he's increased the value of your equity exponentially from when you've invested in this club. And how much money have you actually put back in? How much money have you given Levy or gone with Levy to say, right, our equity now is phenomenal. Thank you very much. Here's 500 million to go and spend on the squad.
Yeah.
You
Sorry,
know,
go on, Steve. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, by the time 2018, 2019 rolled around, following up your Champions League final appearance by not doing a damn thing, yeah, if you want to hold that, to the feet of Levy, okay, fine. But then, the reality was that, he replaced Mauricio Pochettino with Jose Mourinho, then Conte. You know what I mean? So it's I understand that you want to blame somebody for something like that, but that being said, he still tried to get that squad, which was still pretty damn good, to try to win.
Yeah.
By bringing in some of the best coaches in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I guess is it? There's been rumors or just murmurings that even he only found out a couple of hours before it actually happened. Do you give anything behind that? Has it come as a bit of a shock to him, Adrian, or do you think he's been aware?
We can speculate. I mean, you could say that
that's probably about all we can do, right?
Yeah, if he was employed as a CEO by another company years ago, his record for 25 years, he'd have been sacked years ago, right? On that alone, I think the Morgans, Gibb White, and the Eze clusterfuck in the transfer window probably was a triggering point. I think it was a triggering point. He was going. I mean, I think he's tried to cover his ass by sacking Ange and all that. We'd won the Europa League. We couldn't sack him straight away. Otherwise, the parade would have turned into a riot and there'd be nothing left to Tottenham. So, yeah, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing, actually, right? But, yeah, so there are contributing factors in this. I think he was going. It's just a question of when. As soon as Charrington come in, that was a sign. Vivian Lewis, she's got a brother Charlie. I'm not sure how much they are avid Spurs fans. I mean, there's been rumours for a time there's been friction between her and Levy. So that was going to be a change. And once Charrington comes in from the Bahamas as well, and I think he was CEO of Citibank or something at that time, and well in with Joe Lewis and all that, and as non-exec just to oversee things and make sure that their investment is safe. I think Levy was always going, but I think it was just the timing of it. And I'm smelling, this is pure theory, I'm smelling that if there are investors in this, so we got that want to come in and buy the club over a phased period of time in a few phases, one of their prerequisites might have been, we're not investing unless Levy goes.
Yeah.
And you could see that, though. I mean, I could see that, but it's all, I can only speculate. The screw up in the transfer window, but we screwed up in so many transfer windows, you know what I mean, before. So you've got that. All right, Ange picked up the trophy. That hasn't deterred, the major shareholders of ENIC. So it is. I don't know if it will come out. I don't think we're going to get a book come out of this in a year's time. It's not the way these businesses do things like that. No, so
unless Levy writes a memoir.
Yeah.
Oh, he will. It'll be 25 chapters as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be 25 chapters.
Do you guys think it was to do with the transfer window and his general? I mean, like he moves with the speed of a striking slug in a transfer window, doesn't he? You know what I mean? So
yes, because he's only a minority owner, right? So the majority shareholders belong to the Lewis Trust, and I've heard for a few years now that his daughter absolutely hates Levy's guts. The two just absolutely don't get along. The two have clashed on more than one occasion. And when the news came down that Charrington was going to step in, kind of as like an overseer of the Lewis, I guess you could say Lewis's business interest in the club, that's kind of was telling to me at the time. And I do think that last year played a big role because of all the hype of coming off the first season under Postecoglou and finishing 5th and getting themselves back into European play. And, there was a lot of hype off that summer coming into last season, and for it to crash and burn the way that it did, that left egg on a lot of faces in that front office. And I don't even think the Europa League could really save any. Like, it didn't save Postecoglou's job, and I would certainly think that it, as far as the reputation for Levy goes, it didn't save him either. And then, Adrian, you bring up 2 very good points: the Morgan Gibbs White debacle, and then obviously you follow that up with the Eze debacle. I would probably assume that enough was enough. But you bring up a very interesting point about a new investor, because we've been hearing that for like 2 years now. The interesting thing is that Levy kept saying it wasn't going to be like a majority type of investor. It was going to be somebody that was going to be minority. But that being said, you kind of wonder if behind the scenes they're probably potentially angling for a majority takeover, because the Louis Stress, I heard, doesn't want to be involved in Spurs anymore. Like, they want to cash out.
Well, this is the contradiction, right? Because you say that, and that's sort of the murmurings, but then the other murmurings are, well, no, actually the kids are avid Spurs fans and they really want to get involved now. And, well, if it was their dad holding the purse strings all along, well, why didn't they just tell him to loosen the purse string? Like, there are some things that just don't quite make sense for me.
Because when they sell, they have 5 billion reasons to sell, right? I think that's the end game, right? You don't buy a club or a sports team for short-term gain. You're doing it for the long game, because when you sell it, and if you manage your business right, you're going to walk away with a lot of goddamn money. And by the way, Levy's going to walk away with a lot of money as well too, because he's also a minority shareholder. So it's good for everyone around. But that being said, I wonder whether or not the reason why they pushed him out is they don't want Levy negotiating any type of takeover.
Yeah, they're not. ENIC are not going to sell all their shares. They could sell a majority chunk of them. I mean, Levy owns 29.8%. I mean, the ENIC owns 86% of the share, and there's 30,000 other shareholders, right? So you've got that. Then you've got to look at the situation where they're in. Sugar didn't sell all his shares out when he sold out the club. He kept a chunk because he knew his club, they'd have more money, or they'd take this club forward and his shares value. So even John, so he knew that. And then you take in consideration, right, if all these hotels and stuff, if Tottenham's gentrified, then the land values in Tottenham go up, house prices go up, the value of the stadium goes up, so which it has done over the years. Then you've got to take into consideration we've got an estimated 34 million fan base. Now, they won't all be rich. Some might not be able to afford a shirt or in a poorer country or whatever. But that's still a gold mine to tap into for your sponsors and all that. And people are very loyal. Alan's here. People are very loyal to usually sponsors that sponsor your football team that you love them, and they tend to buy products. And that's why sponsors sponsor you in the first place, to tap into the market. So there's still a gold mine of the fan base. And if you start winning trophies, your fan base grows as well. So, yeah, there's too much money for ENIC to cut ties with this club fully. I don't see him do it unless they was really overpaid price for it. I mean, if it was worth 4 billion and they got 5 or something, then maybe. But other than that, I don't see him cutting complete ties with this football club. I think they're either going to stay as a majority shareholder, even if they reduce their shareholding from 86% down to 51, right, and creamed off a lot of money, or if they went less than someone buy, say, 60% of the club, then I still see them holding on to a share, because I think you'd be mad to give up these shares in this club. This club's going to generate even more money. We generated 530 odd million in the Champions League. I think this year we'd probably generate 600 million. Where's it going to stop?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have we talked at all about how we think? We know that Levy was pushed out, as far as I understand it. The hot goss.
Yeah, we were just touching on that, whether we thought it was actually the case or not. But yeah, I mean,
it sounded like it.
He found a horse
Steve made a really good point just then, just as you came on, that maybe it's literally just simply a case of they don't want the guy negotiating for him because he just seems to, I don't know, just seems to try and get all the blood out of the stone, right? I don't know.
I heard, Drew, I heard that Levy woke up and found a horse's head in his bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
They clinched it.
Well, you know, I was listening to someone talking on TalkSport, and they were saying how good it was that we were able to keep this so secret. They said news this big, generally you don't keep it so secret. It leaks come out, and because people talk. But so this must have been kept pretty close to the vest the entire time. They didn't tell. From what I understand, they didn't tell Levy until the day of.
Yeah. Is this actually for real? Big up, Spud. Says, I think Drew's right. It's family business. I bet if I put money on Nick Boucher, married to Vivian's daughter, master of sports management, Orlando Magic, and co-chief exec of Tavistock. My basketball team's Orlando Magic. That's a little weird. Keeping it in the family. I'm keeping it incestuous over here in the family.
I'm surprised we even have a basketball team.
There are two grandchildren. One's Nick Bolcher and the other one's Alexandra, her name is.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, and they've got positions. Even Levy's son got a very high position in the group. So it's all interwoven, you know. Web of intrigue, we might say now. But,
web of intrigue. Interesting. Well, yeah, Alan. I mean, you just kind of, just got on the tail end of this, and we were just going to, unless you've got anything specific or any thanks you want to give to our former chairman, I think we'll maybe move on to other things. But
I think how I see it. The whole, you know, kind of taking a step back, more of a holistic approach. I guess Daniel Levy is responsible for making the Lewis family very, very wealthy. So I think they were keeping him in a position to make them money, and I think and there were certain tasks that he was, I guess, either assigned or he decided he was going to do it himself, like the stadium. So I guess some of the infrastructure around Tottenham, I guess like hotels or whatever, and you know, getting the team infrastructure in place. And he did a very admirable job, probably one of the best. And if he was looking to do that for another team, I bet there are teams out there that would snap him up in a second to help their PSR and, you know, the whatever rules there are that other teams like Chelsea violate, but we don't. You know, then I think he would have a job. But I think we got to the point where we hit a wall, and at this point it's about growing the squad, the men's first team. And I think that's why he is done. It's kind of, my guess is he's been languishing, kind of probably feeling a bit of unsure what the hell's going on now that what's his name, Vinay Venkatesham came in and Scott Munn put on his, what do you guys call it, gardening leave, and they brought in, what's his name, the other Lewis guy, last name Carrington. They brought Carrington in. You know, it's if you've ever been in a business office and suddenly people start getting hired into roles that they're creating a brand new role for this one person. That's a little suspicious. It's sort of like inner office politicking going on. And I think it was just a matter of time before Daniel Levy saw the writing on the wall. And I think it was just happened to be that day. But I think he did a great job in building the club and the wealth of the shareholders. I think it's just time to move on and give someone else a chance at the wheel.
Yeah.
Fans pay the price in higher prices, though. We're virtually taxed because he put all his eggs in a basket on the stadium. We were virtually taxed with higher prices. food, beer, everything they could squeeze out of us, the merchandise and all that. It's all part of trying to grab money back. I mean, Stink the other year putting the prices up and taking away the concessions for old senior citizens like myself. I don't think of myself as one though.
They did. I don't know that, and unfortunately, I don't know that there's a way to unring that bell once you raise. I mean, does it happen in football where a club will raise ticket prices, but then at some point lower them?
Well, you've alluded to the right point. You know, once the lightning's out of the bottle, you can't get it back in there. You could freeze prices for a few years. We'll see what the the new direction is, won't we? We'll know more in 4 months' time, because that transfer window will either be telling or it'll be same old Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm. I think what I heard from Ali Gold was that I guess between Carrington and Vinay and Thomas Frank, the three of them are pretty much doing what Daniel Levy was doing, well, majority doing at least.
Yeah, fair play. All right, well, I'll tell you what then. Enough about him. Let's move on. Let's talk about the not the train. No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this. No, let's talk about that. Hang on, where's my bloody thing gone? There we go. Sorry, I'll get there in the end. The actual squad itself. Let's talk about that, because there were some omissions from the squad. But obviously the squad did come out this week in terms of our Champions League endeavours. We got this little lot. Steve, start us off. Anything in there you particularly thought was concerning, or was it all pretty much straightforward given the fact that we've got the injuries we've had? Did it make sense that this was the squad?
Well, here's the interesting thing. There are definitely names on it that I would expect to see on it.
What about these ones? These are the omissions as well.
Yeah. The interesting thing, right, is, Dragishin and Kulusevski and Johnson, for the most part, are going to be out. Johnson for the entire season, Kulusevski for at least a few more months.
You mean Madison?
Not Johnson, Madison, sorry. And then...
so what's happened to my boy? What's happened to my boy?
Yeah. So, Madison's out for the year. Kulusevski's probably out for till December maybe, and Dragison's still probably going to be out at the same time. Basuma for the obvious reason, and Dragison's still recovering from an injury. So I'm not surprised of these omissions. Did you really think that Yves Basuma or Kota Takai were going to, be plus additions to the squad? Now, the only name on there that is maybe somewhat surprising is Matisse Tell. Just considering the price tag of what she came back into the squad this summer. You would probably think that a player of that magnitude or that price range would probably appear on it. But that being said, he's also not a homegrown, right? So from that standpoint, there was a reason why Brandon Austin made that Champions League squad, because they have a quota to fill. So you're going to have casualties. So it is what it is. I actually think it's a pretty good squad. And when you look at the schedule of our Champions League phase, I don't know, man. I get the impression that we're going to at least advance to the knockout rounds.
Wow.
We're not alone, though, having a reduced squad. Liverpool, all the other teams have got a reduced squad.
Okay.
They've all got it. So we're not alone. Not that it makes an excuse for us, but they have, because they've all got the homegrown issues, right?
Yep.
I mean, where Frank is going to have to show his mettle. I mean, these players in his squad are going to have to show good form if they want to keep their places when the squad's re-registered in January. Because if we bring a foreign player in, they're going to want to go in a Champions League squad. If you've got Decky back, if not Madison back, or if Dragonson somehow plays out of his skin in the league and they think, oh, we'll keep him, we don't know. And even Sakai. It's a nice problem to have, though, come January.
Correct.
Correct. And this is why Frank gets paid the money. Did I say Angie earlier? I probably did.
Probably.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing.
Shoulder, right?
But that's also something else to consider, especially if Spurs actually are active in the first 5 days of the January transfer window before the deadline is to register for the knockout rounds.
Yeah.
You also have to consider that as well too. Yeah.
And And you look at it, right? You look at the competition itself. It's 15 games like the Europa League. You got the 8 games, right? We got 8 games to play. Which 7 of them are winnable. PSG, we might go and get a draw again, but 7 are winnable. And to be fair, for us not to finish in the top 24 to get 2 extra playoff games, that's ridiculous. So we can look at getting the 8 games and another 2 minimum. Then we might hit a brick wall and get knocked out. But we don't know what form we'll be in when we get there. We might be in fantastic form, you know. I mean, if we're playing crap, we'll go out because it's not very forgiving when you get down to the last 8 of the quarterfinals. You'll get battered, right, if you're not on it. Any mistake will be punished. You know, you could have a last 8 of Barcelona, Real Madrid, say Bayern Munich, PSG is 4, then Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City. I mean, even those 8 now. You know, I'm not saying we can't beat them all on the day. If you can beat Man City away, you should be able to beat anyone. But we just lack that consistency. So I'm expecting we could get to the court as we stand now, and we don't know how the new guys are going to settle in and things, and what form's going to be. I'm saying we should make it through to the last 16, right? But then I think it's in the lap of the gods, unless we're showing some really good form. We're not winning it, though. Let's be fair about it. We're not winning it.
Yeah, those first 4 should be 12 points before we hit PSG.
I always put them up. Yeah, we got Villarreal. Yeah, this is like with West Ham next Saturday. Then on a Tuesday we play Villarreal. Yeah.
Manor Solomon just went to Villarreal.
Yeah, probably score. I don't care if Manor Solomon went to Villarreal on loan.
On loan.
And you cannot. A little rule here in the Premier League. We used to say when we farm players out on loan, one of the prerequisites was that you can't play against us, right? So you don't embarrass us. You can't do that under European rules. You can't do that. Once their squad's registered, everyone's entitled to play. So we can't place restrictions on him. I don't care if he scores against us as long as we win the game. This is about points. It's about points in games, right? So, you know, and to be honest with you, I would have liked to have seen more of him in a Spurs shirt. But, you know, it's the way it goes when you've got a big squad, you know.
Is there anything... Go on, Adrian.
And with regards to Tell, I watched videos of him before. I mean, look, the kid's got the right attitude. He just hasn't done enough yet, has he, in the Premier League? He's coped all right. Hasn't looked out of place, but he just doesn't look as though he's going to turn a game, you know, or make things happen. He scored a penalty and a couple of other goals, I think. So he's got something about him because we paid that. We got the reduced price on him, and they must have seen something in training to sign him because, like, we haven't seen what we'd like to see for him to have him like to pay the 30 mil and get him in. So
you know, but by that standard, Adrian, I mean, has Wilson Odegaard deserved the right to be included in this Champions League squad?
Well, if you listen to the word coming out of training ground, and we've seen glimpses of him doing it, he's the most skillful player we've got. Maddison's the second most. That's the word out of the training ground, right?
Word on the street is Thomas Frank absolutely loves the kid.
Yeah, that probably is. Probably true. I mean, he wanted Gray, didn't he? He wanted Johnson. I mean, it's funny. It was on Jess's channel earlier, and she was saying, "Oh, they're a bit marmite about." I forget what player she mentioned. I said I posted back when Jess Spurs fan base are divided on every Spurs player. They are.
Yeah, that's probably not wrong then. You are not wrong. Well, yeah, I mean, it does look like a pretty, like you say, it's a pretty decent draw. And what you got to get top 24 to get through to a playoff round.
Yeah.
I mean,
which means out of all them groups, is it 6 groups?
There were 4.
4 pots of 9, weren't there? 4 pots of 9. Sorry, right? 4 pots of 9. So the top 2 in each group are going to go through. We should finish in the top 2 in our group anyway. So we should have to work. I don't know if you get. I can't even remember it'll be the same format as Europa League. I can't.
Well, it's just one big league. They don't even have groups.
The top 8. I think the top 8 advance.
No, you're right. You're right, Drew. It's one big league. Right. And I'm just wondering if we finished third in the Europa League group, right? Went on to win it. I can't remember if we got any advantage by finishing third, like either playing.
I don't think we did, because don't you remember we were all? Don't you remember we were all? What was the game where? Didn't we finish above somebody in the league, but they ended up having advantage of being the home team? Where was that? There was a situation last year.
No, it wasn't AZ Alkmaar, because we the second leg was at the stadium. Frankfurt was at the stadium. Glint was at the stadium as well too.
Yeah, but
wasn't it a case of we should have had the second game of one of our legs? We should have had the second game at home. We should have played Frankfurt away first and then at home, because we finished above them in the table. But as it turned out, we ended up playing them at home first and then having to go away.
Right.
So even though we finished above them in the table, it actually gave us no advantage.
I didn't even know that.
So
I forgot about Eintracht Frankfurt.
I'm all for.
I tell you what, honestly, given the amount of weed that I've smoked since then, I'm amazed that I just remembered that.
It's brilliant. You're not going to get dementia. So you're not. Yeah, I mean, I would thought like if you finished first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and there was 16th, and the team that finished first would play the team that finished 16th, because you've earned that right. You finished first, and you fielded strong time. And the same as you went top eight. They may change the rules, like as they always do. Everyone's always fucking about the rules, aren't they? So like,
right
there it is, right there. Yeah, 1 through 8 qualify, 9 through 16 playoffs, and when you look at our schedule, we should easily qualify in the top 8.
Yeah, it should be a meritocracy, shouldn't it? It should be like if you've done well, you should be given an advantage. You know, so we'll see.
So how many teams in total in this place, Lee? Do we know? Lee, big up Lee WizKid. Thank you for coming in. Do we know how many teams in total?
36.
36. Okay.
Because you've got there's 9 in each group, so it's 36. And 24.
You keep on going on about these groups. We've just come to the conclusion there isn't the groups.
Right.
There isn't any groups, man.
No, there's no groups. On that, yeah, but there is, because like we've got a group of teams we've got to play. I actually think we've got a fantastic draw. What do you think, guys?
Hang on. We have a conflict. Zookeeper Tom coming in. 9 to 24 is playoffs. Okay. 1 to 8 qualify. 9 to 4. 9 to 24 is what I'm sure he meant there. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
All these numbers.
Tom's right.
All right. Cool. Well, yeah. In that case, I mean, I feel like I don't know, lads. The more I think about it, the more optimistic I get. But then I think about the Bournemouth game, and I think maybe not.
All it takes is a loss against a really good team like Bournemouth. And all of a sudden, like all the momentum has just gone completely right out of the balloon. All the air just got sucked right out of the room. It's like, oh man, same little time.
Little thing for the train station down to Tuesday night, Slavia Prague. If you see Red Star, that's what they are. They are Red Star as well. So it's the same thing, right?
Okay.
So,
last time we had to go out to that neck of the woods, didn't they have a manager in prison, or was that a different team?
Yeah, no, actually, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was Red Star Belgrade whose manager was in prison. That's awesome.
That's the one.
That's awesome, though.
Brilliant. Oh, Choppy Cheese. Big up Choppy Cheese.
Yeah.
Didn't have Simmons or Colo Milani. Oh, Colo Milani.
Muani.
Prego.
Colo Milani.
Rando Colo Muani.
What do we think? I tell you what, haven't really spoken about. Haven't really spoken about these boys. What do we think about the Kolo Muani signing? I've not actually heard from anything about any of you. Alan, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, on its face, I think that it was a panic buy, but that's because we were in. I think if we had gotten Savinho, I don't think we go for Kolo Muani. I think we went for Kolo Muani because things hadn't panned out. So in a sense, it was kind of like a panic buy, but it was a good panic buy.
Okay.
I'm happy with it. I think he brings experience. He's kind of he was ahead of. I think he'd be good for Tell. So I think Tell. I think they're. Didn't Tell have something to do with PSG at some point? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was in their academy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think that's
really?
where they. Yeah, I think.
Odegaard was in their academy. I don't know that. So
I mean, they're all obviously all come from France, so they probably maybe would have crossed paths at some point. Although I think isn't Moani probably a couple of years older than both of those guys?
He is, and I think that might be a good thing. That he kind of has someone to look to and kind of work with, someone that's already been down the path they've been, but further down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of important. At least we picked up someone that wasn't youth with no experience. All potential. I'm glad it's someone that has experience. Now, I've watched the highlight reel. I've watched a couple of them. In fact, he's and they make him look unreal. I've never really watched him play though to know. I've heard that he's had some ups and downs, but when he had his ups, they were really up. So I'm hoping that that's the version of the person we're getting.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Tom. Yeah, and the Vaskovic thing I know we got him a couple of years ago, but he was only 18 in February. That's why the payment is now on here. The 12 mil on is now instead of back then when we initially got him, right? But the loan fees for Pauline and they were both, I've been told, 4.3 mil each, which is the 8.6 mil figure. But then look, I mean, we've got 20 mil for Son, which was good. 8.7 mil for Gill, right? We should have given them 8.7 mil. 17 mil for Højbjerg. Keelia mil, net spend just 136 mil. And the rumours were, I don't know where these rumours come from, like most rumours was we had about 200 mil to spend or something, which means we should have enough sufficient transfer funds with all the income we're going to get from the Champions League, playing them 8 games and stuff. By the time we get round to January, don't tell me that ENIC are not spending on players working these deals out so they can be signed off early. You only got a month to do it. Yeah. Now show us, right?
Well, it'll be the first window in the post-Levy era. So we don't know what's going to happen. You have 25 years previous of a certain basis to expect, for expectation, but who knows what's going to happen in January.
But for a crap window, we've done well in January. I mean, like we got Dele Alli in, we got Decky in, we got Bentancur in, we got Porro in. Who am I missing? Oh no, we got Romero in. Right, they've five genuine signings, and they've all done well for us, right? So, all right, we got Dan Juma in. I didn't want to bring him up, to be honest.
He added on at last minute.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
well, audio brings up a question here. I mean, I guess, and given that we're talking about obviously the new signings that have just come in, I mean, does anyone want to take a pop at what our strongest 11 would be at the moment? I'll tell you what, Steve, we'll start with you and we'll go round.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, right? I don't think Randall Kolo Muani was brought in to be a striker.
Okay.
I think he's brought in to play the left side, just considering that's still the weakest area of the pitch in the attacking three. And I think the fact that Richarlison has actually not only managed to stay healthy, but he's actually scoring goals. Has been a boost to the fact that I think they're going to give him a run out until he proves otherwise. And they have a capable backup in Dominic Solanke behind him as well too. And I think without the workload of Dominic Solanke, I think it's actually going to free him up to actually play pretty well. I would probably assume. That being said, I think it's going to be the back five is going to be the back five we assume it is. It's going to be Vicario and net, and I do believe that once Destiny Udogie comes back and he's fully fit, he will regain his spot on the left side, and it's going to be Spence, Romero, Van de Ven, and Udogie, Polini at the 6, Bentancur as the box to box with Xavi Simons as the 10, and then it's going to be Kolo Muani, Richarlison, and Kudus.
Yeah. All right. Any difference from that for you, Alan?
I guess a little, but first I wanted to ask a question. Do you read into it all that that well, Solanke, I guess, was included right in the Champions League. He's not injured enough, because I know we were concerned about that, right? That his injury might be more serious because he was left out of the Bournemouth game, and suddenly they didn't know when it. But do you read into that at all, that he's like not as injured as we thought he would be?
I thought somebody was saying 2 or 3 months, and then Frank came out in the presser and said he expected him to be back after the international break.
Okay.
Now, if you say after the international break, I mean, that's either very liberal talk for at any point after the international break, but I've got a feeling I think he'd have been honest and probably said that he'd be out for a minute if he was going to really be out for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see.
Yeah, the reports I heard were like, they said minor ankle issue. Now, we know players play with knocks. Some play season with a consistent knock-on problem. We know Winks did with his gut. Richarlison has as well. Romero has as well. I mean, so it depends. If it's just one of them, one of them. But if not, if it's something that they get to January and think, hang on, we've got players back, right? We've got players back now. Have your surgery. You know, Richarlison's back. We're playing Johnson through the middle as well. We've got, you know, Moani. We've got Simmons. We've got cover. We've got cover there in a striker role. We're assuming that our strikers are purely number 9s. You know, I mean, Johnson could play in the middle, and so could actually, if you wanted to shift him in there, you could put Kudus there as well. They wouldn't be traditional number 9s, but you could play them there as Quicksilver forwards like you get on the continent. So, yeah, there's like, when everyone's fit, try picking this team for different games, because he's going to have to mix it up anyway. So,
yeah.
Let me see. How do I view it? I think I'm not sure what the formation is going to be. I know in the back, I'm going to say he's going to have Jed Spence on one side and Pedro Porro on the other. And then he'll have Romero and Van de Ven in the back, in the middle. He'll have Xavi Simons, I think, in the number 10 role. I think in the back behind him, he'll have Polina and maybe Bentancur.
Yeah, he's getting a new contract. Yeah, so
yeah. And then I would have Kolo Muani all the way up front, and I would probably put Richarlison on the left and Kudus on the right.
It's not a bad call. Richie terrorizes people on the left. It's just his physical presence and his shithousery, isn't it? He does it. So that's good. I mean, I'd be different to that.
The only reason I would say I would be against that is because I think if you're trying to stop things coming down that side, then Richarlison's quite good to have over there as a nuisance. But I don't see a world where Richarlison feeds Kolo Muani. I do see a world where Muani feeds Richarlison.
I can see him on the left if you're away at PSG, right? I can see him on the left in a game like that. Like you can see, always find a place for Kulu when you're away in a tough game, right? You know, you can do that. The back four sort of picks itself with Porro on the right, but where I think Frank got it wrong, and that's within hindsight, you got Semenyo on the right who causes problems. Then you should have Jed Spence in that team. One is the second fastest player at the club, and he marks Salah out the game on the left, right? And Ange didn't pick him in the return game at Liverpool, and we got spanked, right? Which I thought was a mistake. So, depending on the opposition where they pose the biggest threat on the wings, if they've got someone like that, I'm not saying Porro can't get back and put tackles in. We've seen him do it, but Spence is just quicker and better. And so that would be my case for Spence. I mean, I would go Moani on the left, Solanke in the middle, Kudus on the right with Simmons behind him. But I don't think we're going to pick two different guys. So it depends on the team whether I'm playing Porro or Spence at right back. And Spence can play at right back because he's shown it at left back. As daft as that suggestion might seem, because if you're playing at left back and you're facing an inverted winger, which all left backs do now, it's exactly the same as if you're on the right back playing the right winger. It's the same, right? It's the same body shape, making tackles and things like that. So,
isn't that how Bale worked out?
Yeah, and he's got his new signed his new long contract. So, yeah, depending on who we're playing, it's either Porro or Spence or right back. Yeah,
I think same thing with Solanke and Richarlison. I think Richarlison is a more physical player. I mean, as in like, you know, banging into guys and just being a nuisance. I think Richarlison is better at that role than Solanke. But Solanke is very good in the midfield and moving things forward. I think progressing ball. I think he's very good.
Yeah, but the idea is you want to keep Richarlison as healthy as you possibly can throughout the course of the season, which is why playing him out left, he doesn't have the durability to be consistently decent on the left-hand side to go up against some of the best fullbacks in the Premier League out on the right side, right? So, I mean, it just makes sense to keep him centrally, because I actually think he's better in the channels than Solanke at this stage, right? He actually has the wherewithal to go hunt down crosses and good weighted passes in the box, right? That's why I would keep him. I would keep him there, and I actually think he's probably better as a starting 9 right now than Dominic Solanke. And that's nothing against Solanke, because I actually agree with you. I think Solanke's better in the hold-up play. 100% holding balls up and progressing the attack forward. But that being said, it's like, what's more valuable to you, hold up play or putting the ball in the back of the net? And I just think Richarlison right now just does a better job for this team doing that than Solanke in the hold up play. So.
There's also
just a quick shout to Colin Blackshaw, says, evening gents, thanks for the membership. No problem at all. I think that probably came from Blaine Devlin, who is the local giver of memberships, so be sure to give him a thanks. King Huddle agrees with you, Adrian, says Kolo Moani, Solanke and Kudus is his front 3, and Nita says Porro is our workhorse without a doubt. He's in. And I noticed, Steve, you see, would you go with Spence over Porro, would you, just typically in right back? Did I hear that or no?
No, I'm actually in agreement with Adrian. I would actually play my right backs depending on the matchup. I actually said that once Udogie's fit, he walks right back into the starting 11 because he's just better for this team's attack than Jed Spence going forward. Jed Spence might be the better 1v1 defender, but again, Udogie's serviceable enough defensively, but I just think he's better for the attack when he's on the pitch. But that being said, it's like, he brings up, Adrian brings up the best point though. It's like, against Bournemouth this last weekend with Semenyo attacking down the left-hand side, he was an absolute nuisance for Pedro Porro, which is probably where Jed Spence probably should have been playing on that right-hand side, because that probably wouldn't have been an issue. And it's nice having Jed Spence to actually have, versus the matchups against some of the better wingers in the league.
I mean, go now.
I was just going to say, I'm on the opposite. I'm Team Jed. I think Destiny has to earn his place back in, and that's the precedent we should set to anybody that gets injured or whatnot. It just, if they make you do that in FIFA, they should make, you may as well have to do it in real life. But I think Jed Spence, I mean, right now his stock is really high. He's making his debut for the English national team. He's kind of that success story, the guy that was not wanted, kind of by the wayside, and then found his way into, worked hard, ate his Wheaties and took his vitamins and all that stuff. And then, found his way into the first team, and now he's playing for his national team.
It's just, the thing is, we're talking about an 11. We fall into that magnetic trap of an 11, but it's a squad now, and it's going to have to be a squad selection. And what I found interesting so far is like Frank's trust in other players. I mean, he brought Bergvall on, he brought Gray on, he brought Tell on, or Odebert on, and like they made a bit of a difference, even though we were crap against Bournemouth.
They did.
They made a bit of a difference, and it shows that you trust them. He trusts those players. And if I was giving people a tip, I'd say, when everyone's fit, always look at who the manager's picked on the bench, the 9 players, and then consider the 5 he's left out, as long as they're fit and not injured or suspended, right? And then consider the 5 he's left out, as long as they're fit and not injured or suspended. Now I know what the problem I've looking into the team now and the bench is only because Kula and Madison are injured, because they would be getting game time, right? Maybe not every game, but they would. So it's just a tip to keep looking and see who he goes to the bench and puts on and who he trusts as well to bring on in the second half, and not out of an act of desperation, because you have got 9 subs and you can draw on 5, 2 concussion subs as well. We don't want to go there, but so I'm still looking. By Christmas, we should have a fair idea of who he likes, who he trusts, and maybe who might be sold.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. It says get Johnson in the box. However it happens, I don't care, says Roundtable Talk. And that's what one of the names, given the fact that he was the top scorer last year and not a mention has he got. Left wing, right wing, although Adrian did mention playing him down the centre. I just don't know. I can just see Johnson getting bullied too much. He would have to hit the weight room a little bit, I think, for him to really be effective down the middle. But I wish he'd prove me wrong. I certainly do. Let's have a look here. We have got obviously, unfortunately, international week, so nothing this week, which absolutely sucks. But the next 2 games that we do have coming up, obviously, away at West Ham is the next one. I mean, just quickly, we'll just touch on that. And then I think we'll probably maybe give it another 10, 15 minutes and wrap up. If anyone's got any questions in the chat, then by all means, throw them through and we'll try and get them answered. But, I mean, how do you see... I mean, fingers crossed, obviously, everybody comes back from the international break unscathed. How do you see the next game going? Steve, we'll come up to you. You think West Ham away is going to prove any sort of test? Do you think they're going to become any sort of team between now and then, or you think we'll be all right?
No, listen, West Ham is absolutely shambolic this season, and that's regardless of their 3-0 defeat at Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest is not the same team. They're kind of dealing with their own little inner turmoil currently at the moment. And so I think West Ham actually got lucky with their first goal, and all of a sudden, bam, it was an avalanche of 3 goals. Okay, great. So they pick up 3 points, but they're still absolutely dreadful. They opened the season losing to Sunderland, go Black Cats, Sunderland till I die. And then
wow.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing around. But that being said, West Ham is just not that great of a team. Outside of Jared Bowen, that team does not have quality at every single position.
And Paqueta. Don't forget
Paqueta.
Okay, cool. He's a nice piece. But that being said, look around at what they have to offer, and this is going to be a team by the end of the season that's going to be circling the drain of relegation. I hate to say it, but West Ham is one of my relegation candidates to go down. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, I think Sunderland probably has a better team, maybe even Burnley. Not Leeds.
Well, they spent a ton of money this year.
Sure, but you can see quality versus quality. That's why I have one of my teams are going down. And when I look at Spurs right now, notwithstanding the Bournemouth loss, and then all of a sudden they come back, and now all of a sudden Xavi Simons and Randall Koulibaly come into the starting 11, and now all of a sudden we have a balanced attack to go along with the defense that still is probably not going to give up a lot of goals this season. So I would probably assume, and oh, by the way, historically we're pretty good at the London Stadium. So I would say that Spurs probably win that game by 3. I probably think it's going to be a clean sheet, 3-0, and then they go into their first Champions League match at home under the European lights, under the North London lights there at the stadium, South Stand Rock, and they beat the brakes off Villarreal too.
Wow, Adrian, thoughts? Yeah.
The Forest game to win there, an excellent result for West Ham.
Sure.
But I mean, I didn't watch the game, didn't bother going and watch highlights or nothing like that. But apparently they scored their 3 goals in the 86th, 88th, and 90th minute or something.
Yeah, like the first one in, and then like the next 2 was like an avalanche, and all of a sudden you look up, it's 3-0. Credit to them.
They call that a capitulation where I come from. I think.
Yeah.
Credit to them, they won, but I don't think Forest is as good as they were last year. But quality versus quality. West Ham literally does not have quality.
I just don't see many teams scoring 2 goals against us. I mean, at Bournemouth, we were atrocious, but they only scored 1.
Yeah.
Bicaro still pulled off some excellent saves. We are hard to score against. And I think there's a certain, I don't know, robustness about us. We've shown it towards the end of last season, the last 5 games, away to West Ham, fun enough, when you stank the place out. But our eyes were on Europe, away to Brentford when we won 2-0, and then 3 away games in Bodo, Frankfurt, and Man United in the final. I mean, we've got, when our team are on form, we've got an excellent. There aren't many back fours in this league that are better than us. Our forward line suspect. We haven't quite fixed the midfield, but the back 5, and that can be varied with Spence or Porro, and even Danso. I mean, it's very robust. It's solid, isn't it? So I don't see
in a back 5 is Romero the central one, and Danzo the right, and VDV the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, yeah.
Porro
because he's a ball player, isn't he?
Right.
The others can't play the ball like he does.
Yeah.
I mean, we've yet to see more from Dancer. I like what I've seen anyway. If that's what the Dancer we get, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's got a higher ceiling. That's just a bonus. But
Other than an injury, could you ever see a scenario where Spence is right centre back and Porro is right back in a 5? And the only reason I ask is because could you ever see a scenario, barring absolute terrible injuries, where Spence is the right centre back and Porro is the right wing back? Because I think he had to deputise at right centre back last year for a game or a couple games, and I just thought he handled himself so well. And I think Jed Spence is such a good player that I actually think he could probably.
Wouldn't you think
play
that might
anywhere across the black?
Don't you think that also Archie Gray might fit that mold? Because he actually did step in and also played a center back position for a few games last year.
Yeah.
I don't want either of them doing it, but
right. I mean, I would have Spence more so than Gray for sure.
Right, because he's the better defender. But does that 1v1 does that 1v1 defense translate to a central defensive position like center back?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking about it earlier on.
I mean, Walker did it for England as well. Now Spence Gratz on his England call up.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, because he's got such good pace, second fastest after VDV. I mean, that would be a pairing, him and VDV at the back, wouldn't it? If it worked, that would be some pacey pairing,
Yeah, I just want to touch on this really quickly. Vibav Dash, who's come in, good to see you again, mate. And we were talking about this earlier in the show. I think the general consensus is that hopefully, going forward, now that he's gone, certainly there should be more money put in. And if there isn't, then we've all just had the wool pulled over our eyes. Nita says, I look for players who can read the game on and off the ball. How many in our team can do that right now? Johnson pops up, Porro class with his foot, Sarr developing nicely. Nobody mentioned Sarr in their starting lineup. Everyone kind of thinks that Bentancur at the moment deserves that place instead of Sarr.
I think Bentancur, when it comes to consistency, I think Bentancur is a little more mature and more in his game, a little more consistent. But I think Sarr has a higher ceiling. I just don't think he is as consistent with his play. Some days he's really good. Other days he has kind of stinkers.
Mm.
Well, Frank was brave though, wasn't he? I mean, when we're omitting players because we're thinking of an 11, right, rather than a squad game. But you look at Burnley, he played the youngest midfield going, didn't he? Sarr, Gray, Bergvall. I mean, and he's going to have to blend that midfield. Paulina's not going to play every game, right? Bentancur's probably not going to play every game. We're going to play a minimum at least 51 with a Doncaster game, right? Minimum, right? I expect us to do, and then there's the FA Cup as well. So I can see him now. Will it work? Well, we don't know. What is it? What different blends of the three in midfield are going to be good enough in the games that Frank picks them? Don't know. He got it wrong against Bournemouth because, to me, it's in hindsight. In hindsight, Spence should have played at right back against Semenyo, right? But that's being clever after the fact. Let's be fair. I'm not going to kick the manager down for that. He'll have learnt by that. That's what you want. That's what you want. He'll have learnt by that and think, next time we play against a tricky winger, Spence is going there because Porro's better going forward than he is defending. Right.
So we got Spence. Was it Spence Purgatory? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good problem to have, being able to deploy Pap Sarr as an 8 or a 10 in situations that absolutely call for it, right? Like, so let's just go back to that. Let's go back to that Bournemouth game, and we're hunting a goal late, right? But this time we have Simons and Koulibaly. But let's say we're in that situation. We're in the 70th minute, and all of a sudden we still haven't gotten any production from Richarlison. That's an opportune time where you can actually move Xavi Simons out to the left and move Koulibaly in. And deploy
someone at the door. Sorry, I'll be back.
You can deploy Sarr underneath because Xavi Simons is world class on both feet, right? So if you want to attack down that left hand side, to put him, to put Xavi Simons in better space and better spaces to play ball into a guy like Koulibaly, now all of a sudden you have that underneath cover with Pap Sarr crashing the box. So from that standpoint, you can deploy Pap Sarr in better situations to play to his strengths. And still being able to use Koulibaly and Xavi Simons, you can deploy them as chess pieces in the attacking third. So I actually think keeping Pap Sarr as that chess piece late in games is actually going to pay far more dividends than him starting out of position as a 10.
I mean, when Decky's fit, you can still play him on the right. He can still do a good job on the right for us, because then if you're playing,
that's another great problem. That's another great problem.
If you're playing Kudus in the middle, you've all seen the way he brings down impossible balls and controls them.
Oh yeah,
he's got a better touch than Richarlison's got. Solanke's got decent touch though, but Kudus reminds me a bit of Ginola, the way he brings balls down out of the air and hangs on to it. So you could, when he's fit, you could play Decky on the right, Kudus in the centre then, because his touch is brilliant. He'd bring the balls down, right? It's like horses for courses, all depending on who we're playing against and what form our players are in at the time when we're playing these games as well. There are so many variables, and you're still playing Moani on the left, and you're still playing Xavi. He's about 5'9", but Mane's about 6'1". So you're still playing Simmons as a 10, right? So
sorry. I was going to say, sorry, Nita, we're not a League One side or a League Two side that's in the player development business. We're in the business of winning trophies. So, I don't mean to be rude, but the reality is, like, yes, I guess there are certain players that you should develop. We have guys who are 19 years old, and it makes sense to develop them. But that being said, it's like, when you bring in Xavi, when you bring in Koulibaly, and you bring in Kudus, you're hunting trophies, not just developing players.
And we've brought 4 trophies in. So whereas we didn't have a good bench against PSG away, we didn't lose the game. We lost some penalties, right? We're going to have better options on the bench because we've got 4 players in. We're going to have better options on the bench now.
Yep.
Every game we play, let alone Europe. And that has to be just an enormous plus for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude! What a difference a year makes, because there were games last year where our bench was nothing but academy players.
Yeah, it's almost like a crash.
yeah.
All right, boys. Well, I'll tell you, we've been going almost an hour and a half, and I think we've sort of covered most of the bits that we really wanted to cover. And I'm conscious, don't really want to, go on for the sake of it. Adrian, you want to give the channel a quick plug?
Yeah, we've got 100 of you viewing us on various platforms. Like Drew alluded to earlier, if you only recently joined us, we're 12 short from that magical 1,500 figure, which we'd like to get to. We're a fledgling group. We've only been going over a year, about 13, 14 months. So we're doing okay, but it only takes a second to subscribe to that button in the bottom right-hand corner, right, and subscribe to the channel. We also have memberships if you're interested in memberships. Let's see if Blaine hasn't given everyone we've got a membership already.
Also a good problem to have.
We do have a
Brilliant.
Facebook group with
Not
14,500 members, which I started when the stadium opened in 2019. If you like that sort of platform, you can join that. We're also on XCOM. You can get all the posts I do on there as well for shows. I'm sure a lot of you are viewing us from there now, right? We've got a WhatsApp group for anyone who wants to message us through Facebook or XCOM. All we need is your phone number to add you to the WhatsApp group. Then we use the WhatsApp group as a sync to get guests. As shows go out when the season's busy, not necessarily during the international break when there's nothing to talk about, but every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock. I host a Tuesday show. I'll be doing that more with admin Tom during the Champions League. He'll host as well. Drew hosts the Friday show, and I just co-host with him. Ian hosts the Sunday show, and Tom comes on, and I go on with him as well on Sundays. That's at 10 o'clock as well. Yeah. And so a big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to all of you for your comments and your questions. Big up to all of you watching us on various platforms. And, a very big up to those that watch us on playback. And with that, back to you, Drew.
Yeah, big shout out to Blaine, who did the £20 super chat earlier on. Always a pleasure having him on. I know he's very active in the Spurs community and he gives a lot back. So if you have ever been a recipient of one of his memberships, then obviously feel free to give him a shout and tell him how wonderful he is. To the guys above me, we'll start with you, Mr. Steve Silver. We've got much coming up on stateside footy. I know, obviously, Seattle won the cup. Because that's what Seattle does, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
What else?
And,
what else do they have coming up?
Well, I'll tell you. As a matter of fact, they won their ninth. They won their ninth trophy in franchise history. So, and we're the only team to win every single major trophy in North America. So that's a nice little feather in the cap. But tonight we actually have Jeff Legason on to break down the victory over Miami and also to talk about whether this team is capable of winning a double. So that's going to be tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, and I believe that might be 1 or 2 o'clock UK time. So if you guys really want to hang around, man, tonight's the stateside footy's the channel you want to be on. But that being said,
tonight is the night, boys.
Tonight is the night. But tomorrow we have the U.S. men's national team live stream as we play host to South Korea from Red Bull Arena. So that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, on Tuesday we have again the U.S. men's national team live stream as we play host to Japan, and that will conclude the international window for the U.S. men's national team. And then, of course, on Friday and Saturday, the week after, we get ready for our match against West Ham with the pre-match build-up and, of course, the Hotspur watch-along.
Nice. So you mean to tell me for 10 years I had to watch Sonny fly from London to South Korea and back constantly and put all that energy into that, and yet he moves to LAFC and he gets to essentially wander down the road to play his next friendly match or his next match?
I wouldn't say LA to New Jersey is wandering down the road. I mean, it's an 8-hour flight, but yeah, okay.
It's pretty
and
close.
Sonny scored a worldy free kick for his new club.
He did.
He did.
Oh,
he really did.
It's Major League
and
Soccer.
I forgot on the big ups. I forgot to big up myself for doing the intro and outro music, which I'll keep doing and varying. Like, and Drew doesn't like most of it anyway. Like, but don't
some of it's all right. He had a little Celine Dion number that he was playing me earlier on. It was an absolute shocker. Big up to Audio Artisan and big up to Faz Radfar for Spurs deal. Good evening, lads. He says, good job. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you popping in. Alan, anything going on at Team Tottenham Go, or is it Team Tottenham Stop at the moment?
Team Tottenham Stop, yeah. I mean, it's a good problem to have. Work is very busy, but work is very busy.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. So, but I really want to get stuff because, I mean, with the Levy thing, is just there's so much to that, and there's so much, 25 years of pain and anguish and animosity and everything else. He needs to come out with a tell-all book.
Yeah. It's going to be 2025, the Daniel and Donna years.
Yeah. Right. Daniel and Donna.
Yeah, Daniel and Donna.
And Raz must be more confident about this season because on every podcast you see Raz on earlier, last season it was always 4-1. Every prediction was 4-1 Spurs, and now he's got a 4-0.
Now he's
So
gone
he must be
4-0.
feeling
We've locked
he's
up.
4-0 everywhere now.
Yes, we've locked up the defense. We just got to work out what's happening going forward.
Yeah.
All right, Alan. Well, I appreciate you coming on as always, my friend.
My
And
pleasure.
same with you, Steve.
Mm.
Adrian, you've got
That's
your.
fine.
Do you say you do have a show Sunday, or are you not going to bother?
We may not be doing a show till next Friday when you do the preview of West Ham. We get the banners up
All right.
because I'm like you. There's enough chat about Levy unless something breaks. I mean, what are we going to talk about Sunday? I don't think I've made about the next 20 odd shows, but I haven't done Sunday or this Tuesday coming because we don't want to come on and just like waffle on. It's just no point, you know. No point.
Fair play.
We pride
All
ourselves
right.
in a mature and sensible group. You know what I mean? Fact
Mature and sensible. Absolutely fact based. If if it's not a fact, we don't have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls. Well, thank you very much, one and all in the chat, as to all the regulars, to all the new faces. Very much appreciate you coming and spending some time with us, and especially on the replay. If you are watching on playback, as I say, if you feel the need to, please do give us a like and please subscribe. On our way to 1,500 and then the big 2K. So until next week, come on, you Spurs. Take it easy. Later.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. Lily white and navy blue, lily white and navy blue, lily white and navy blue. Lily white and navy blue, lily white and navy blue, lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hard, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. Lily white and navy blue.